GJ Math. In this video, we'll be looking at sum to infinity. So infinity is a weird concept in mathematics that you explore a lot if you take maths at university level. But in normal pure maths, this is the only time you'll encounter infinity in actual sums. So the concept of infinity just means something never ends. Now, sum of or sum to means I'm going to add stuff to infinity. Now, that's also a weird concept because technically if I add 100 things, it should be more than 10 things that I add. Okay, and that's true, but this is a very specific case in patterns where there's an actual formula to add the sum to infinity. So if we look at these two examples on screen, you will see that the very particular thing that's happening here is the values are getting smaller. So if I look at example 1, I'm starting with 10, then 5, then 2.5, then 1.25. So I'm halving each term to get the next term. With the one on the right, it starts with 0.12, and then the 1, 2 just moves 2 spaces. So I'm multiplying by 0.01 or by 1 over 100. Okay, and those are the cases where I can use sum to infinity if the r value lies between -1 and 1. So if your r value is 0, anything or negative 0, anything, like in this case 0.5 on the left or 0.01, sorry, then sum to infinity would apply, and then I only use this formula. So it is on your formula sheet. So you just need to identify the sum, figure out what's a, figure out what's r, sub it into the formula, and then you get the answer. So let's do the one on the left. I can see that the a value is just 10, and r, like I said, is a half, but let's just test it. R is equal to term 2 over term 1, so that is a half. So the sum to infinity in this case is going to be a over 1 minus r, which is going to give me 20. The one on the right, my a value is 0.12, and then my r value I will get if I say 0.0012, so term 2, divided by term 1. And that is going to give you 1 over 100. So the sum to infinity would just be 0.12, so my a value, over 1 minus r. And the answer to that sum is going to be, so if you do it in your head, it's going to be 12 over 99, but your calculator will tell you it is simplified to 4 over 33. And that is the sum to infinity formula. So it only works if the r value is 0, something. So we say then the sequence converges. So it doesn't matter if I add 10 or 100 values, it will never go past this specific point. So what you can do is you can imagine an exponential graph with an asymptote. So it would look something like this. So it goes up because I'm adding terms, and the asymptote is there somewhere. So even though it still continues, it's increasing by such a small amount that it would never pass that asymptote. So sum to infinity, just always remember asymptotes. So you're going to get an answer, and it's never going to surpass that answer. Let's look at another example. You can also expect more word sum type questions. So find a if the sum to infinity is 810 and the ratio is 1 over 3. Now this formula is so small that I can just sub in everything that they give me. So they tell me the sum to infinity is 810, and I do not know what a is, but I know what r is. And then I can just use my calculator. So I'm just going to multiply the denominator to the other side. And I know that 1 minus a third is 2 over 3. So I'm just going to multiply that to the other side. Then if I type it in my calculator, I'm going to get an answer of 540. There we go. That is the answer. So this is a very simple concept. Sort of at the end, this is the last new formula you're going to learn in this chapter. But then afterwards, they're going to now do exam type questions where they combine things and they try to confuse you. But before I forget, there's one last sum that goes with this, and it is linked to converging. The concept of converging is when something keeps on getting smaller and smaller. So the sum on the left, I know that the next term is going to be, I'm halving, so the next term is going to be 2.5, and then 1.25, and so on. So therefore my R value was a half. Now this one is a bit more tricky on the right. So I'm actually going to use the formula that we used from the beginning. So R is equal to term 2 over term 1. So in this case, R is 200 over negative 300, which simplifies to just negative 2 over 3. And if I test it with term 3 and term 2, I will get the same value. So once again, my R value is 0, something. So that's why it converges. That's 0,5. This one will be negative 0,666 recurring. Okay. So the questions you are going to get now is going to say, find the value of X or P or any variable which would make the series converge. So let's look at these two examples. So what we just established up top is something converges if the R value lies between -1 and 1. So I can then solve this question by setting up an equation to figure out what is P, because I know what R is. In this case, R would be equal to term 2, so 2P plus 3 squared over 2P plus 3. Now the brackets are the same, so the bottom one just cancels out one of the top ones, so R is equal to 2P plus 3. Now they ask me, when will this converge? It will converge when R lies between -1 and 1. I just figure out what R is, so I'm just going to sub that in, and then I just need to get P alone. So this is a double inequality. You started learning this in grade 10. So I need to get P alone in the middle. I'm going to take away the plus 3. It's equations, so to eliminate the plus 3, I just need to minus 3 on both sides. So this is going to be -1 minus 3 and 1 minus 3. So I'm sitting with a -4 on this side and -2 on that side. I want P alone, so the answer to this question is this sum will converge if P lies between -2 and -1. Let's look at the sum to the right. So in this case, I can see the second and the third term look fairly similar, but the first term, something is odd about that. So I'm going to take out a common factor in the first term, and I can see 4 can divide into both of them. So I'm going to take out a 4, and that's 3 minus P to the power 1. Now it's all in the same format. So if I'm going to check what is R, I can say R is 8, and 2 of those brackets, so term 2 divided by term 1. 4 goes in there once, 4 goes in there twice. This bracket cancels out one of those, and my R value is actually 2, 3 minus P. Okay, now they're asking me when will this converge. I'm going to sub it into this small formula that we used, and I'm going to say it will converge if my R value, 3 minus P, lies between -1 and 1. So first step, I'm going to divide by 2, so this is minus a half, 3 minus P, and then positive a half. Now I need to subtract the 3 again, so this is going to be minus 3.5, minus P, and then minus 2.5. Now, if you work in fractions or decimals, it really doesn't matter, as long as you are just comfortable with the format you choose. So technically I'm done, but I actually want P alone, so I can't leave my answer like that. It's not a nice answer. So I'm going to divide by a minus, and now big red flags need to go up. This is an inequality, and in grade 9 or 10, when you started this, you learned that if I multiply or divide by a negative in an inequality sum, the signs need to flip. So please do not forget that. You will lose a mark if you don't flip the signs. Okay, so technically that is the final answer, but please just be nice to the marker, rewrite this from smallest to biggest, and they will like you a little bit more and then give you extra marks at the end of the paper. Hopefully. Let's hope. Okay, so I'm just going to mirror image this and say 2.5 is smaller than P, which is smaller than 3.5. And for that, I will get full marks. I hope this makes sense. I know it's a new concept, but try it out, look at the examples, and yeah, you can score very easy marks with these sums.
If this video helped you, please like and subscribe.
JJ Math.